What's happening, everybody? What's up? Numidia, what's good? Dolo, JR, RJ, Stacy, what's happening? What's up, Bensky? All right. So I'm just getting on the charts, just taking a look at things. And sometimes you get on the chart and make you want to get right off. Just saying. Do y'all have audio? You should have audio. I always got to make sure, because I don't be knowing all the time with these microphones. Dolo said, had a hiccup in my road, but I'm still joining. What happened, Dolo? What happened? Hiccups is something that is bound to happen from time to time, even to the best of us. But I'm curious to know what happened specifically. Oh, did this thing share over here? Should have shared over here too. Said some financial emergency I wasn't expecting. Yeah, that definitely goes on. Definitely. So I totally understand. Totally understand. One of the things that I tend to be very grateful for is that, you know, there was a time like in my life when things would come up, you know, like financially, that you had to kind of address and to deal with. Sometimes things couldn't get done because you didn't have the finances to do it, period. Like, you know, it wasn't even a situation where it was like, you know, you had it to do it and you just didn't want to. It was that you just didn't have it. You know, I know what that's like. But as time has gone by, I'm very grateful to pretty much always be in a position where whenever something comes up, I have the resources, you know, to deal with it. That's truly a blessing to be in that position. And it takes you a lot of time and a lot of work and a lot of effort to position yourself to be in that position. It definitely does. What the market looking like right now? The market is actually starting to slow down a little bit. It actually is beginning to slow a bit. But this internet over here, I cannot stand when the internet goes in and out. Why does it do that? Why? And it's so silly because, like, I know, like, where I'm at, literally, if I go across the street, the internet will work. And it's so silly. It's like, come on. Across the street, but I'm gonna have to do it because it keeps chopping. It keeps going in and out. And I can't deal with that. Cannot deal with it. I need internet, man. The reason I can't use the hotspot is because I'm on live. You know, usually if I have any type of sketchiness with the internet, I just turn my hotspot on, but I can't do that because I'm on live. So I'm just relocating my position over here. Literally across the street. And for whatever reason, across the street, the internet is better. It's so stupid. It's like it's across the street, yo. It's across the street. I got better lighting too, so that's good. All right, cool. So maybe this will work out after all. Look. Boom. Internet is back. Nice and strong. All right, so we good now. It's so silly. That's so ridiculous that happens. That goes on. But it is what it is. Now I just need my power to act right so I can charge up this laptop, and then we'll be good. Come on, man. Start the bad boy up and then start it. Well, then stop it. Start it and then cut it off. There it is. All right. Little silly tricks you got to do. Jesus. I know I'm not the only one. I know I ain't the only one that be jacking internet. I know I'm not the only one. What's up, Joel? He said, why do I go to this location? Because the environment around here is very serene and peaceful. And you know I'm big on that. Fist of Cups, what's happening? And Miss Pruitt, what's up? No, Mr. Pruitt, excuse me. Oh, that's Jamie. What's happening, Jamie? Yeah, I'm big on peace and serenity. So my surroundings here, I'm surrounded by the park and nature. You know what I'm saying? I need that. I needs that. And it just so happens to be internet. But it's so funny because the closer I get to the park, the worse the internet gets. I got to come back across the street. Is what it is. Spring is here, but spring ain't really here because I don't see not one leaf on any of these trees. Spring ain't here until you get a leaf. You need like 2 leaves. Let you know that spring is real. Otherwise, you're getting head faked. All right, so let's look at this market. The market actually it's looking a lot better than it was. A lot better than it was. How quickly things turn around. Shimek, what's happening? All right, so let's see what we can do on these charts, if anything. So we didn't have any trades yesterday. I don't even recall permission yesterday. And those of you in training know exactly what I mean when I say that. We basically just wait for permission from the market to get on the charts and position ourselves to receive money and opportunity from the market. Big difference between what we do and what everyone else is doing as far as trading goes. Huge difference. Jay Carly, what up? She said nothing to do on the chart right now. Yeah, I'm gonna keep my eye on things because things can turn around very quickly. So I like to just glance, and just watch. Keep my eye on what's happening. And if the market decides to do something, it'll do it. If it don't, it won't. So we just keep it simple, just like that. Come on, internet. There we go. I'm starting to think it might be this laptop too. Starting to think that. Like I think I'll be having too much going on the laptop. Like the resources be getting used up or something. And it slows down the system. And then when the system slows down, it slows down the whatchamacallit for the internet. What's that thing called? The it's like a wireless, it's like a piece of software for your Wi-Fi, whatever that thing is called. When the resources on your computer slows down, it slows that down. And then when that slows down, you'll have issues with the internet. So I know that for a fact because I experienced that. Jay Carly said, oh, you know we side eye. Yes, we do. Slow down progression. Yes. This stuff is good. Ruby red grapefruit. Okay, so there we go. All right. And I also need to set this timer. Time is very useful and very helpful. So I actually just finished wrapping up paying these taxes, man. Just wrapped it up. It's like a relief to finish dealing with taxes. It is. It's very interesting too, the way that when you have a business, when you have businesses, I should say, when you have like business income versus, you know, income as an employee, it's a big difference. Because a lot of things that go on business wise, you know, you can't take advantage of as an employee. It's just something that is what it is. The way that the taxes, well, I should say the way that the tax system is set up in the United States, it kind of rewards you for being a business owner, for running a business, for doing some type of business. It just is what it is, which is why trading is very powerful, because trading is a business that represents business income, self-employment income. And, you know, you can benefit from a lot of things that you cannot as an employee. I know that one thing people get afraid of is like I've heard people just say silly stuff like, oh no, I don't want to make more money because then I'm gonna pay more taxes. And I just be like, are you retarded? Like, why? Like, what kind of statement is that? What do you mean you don't want to make more because you are scared of paying more? What are you talking about? You should want to pay more. I want to pay more taxes. I don't want to pay less taxes. If I pay more taxes, it means I made more money. Like, it's just so ridiculous to me. But that goes to show you, like, the mindset that people have, you know, coming from the workforce is totally different. They're not even in the same frame of mind. You really can't even have certain conversations with people because they don't know what you're talking about. Like, they have no idea. Sometimes I'll talk to people. They be like, oh, so how much money you going to get back from your taxes? I'm like, I don't get money back. I don't get money back from taxes. I cut a check. I don't get a refund. Like, refund is for people with a job. Not to say that there's anything wrong with that. Don't get me wrong. I'm comparing the two. I'm comparing and contrasting the two because I've done both. And I could tell you that, you know, being a business owner, having a business income, it's better. We'll just say that. You know, especially when you actually work at increasing your income and scaling up, you know, you in position and you know that you're in control of your income. Let's put it like that. And what that really means is that if you don't do anything to generate more income, you won't. It's on you. At the end of it all the responsibility, all of the risk, but at the same time, all of the benefit goes to you. Like, that's the part that people miss. They're scared of the risk part. Don't be scared of the risk part. Just the fact that you're in position to do certain things independently and can't nobody tell you nothing. Can't nobody tell you nothing when you have your own. Period. Nobody can tell you anything. Nobody tells you when to wake up. Nobody tells you when to do certain things. Oh, well, should I do this? Or, you know, I'm not sure if I should do that. Figure it out and you make a decision. Simple as that. Figure it out, make a decision, and then keep it moving. You know, you don't have to ask. It's powerful, man. It's powerful. Let me read some of these comments real quick. Yep. Stacy said, thanks for paying your taxes so I can get my money. Jay Carly said, I want to pay a shit ton of taxes. Me too, Jay. People can be content. They just getting by. Facts. Well, if you overpaid the estimated taxes, you get a refund, but why? Yeah, I mean, I don't even do all of that. I just pay I just pay it. Like, whatever you owe, pay your taxes. I'm not content ever. Rise up all day. I got a 50-cent raise with a company I've been with for 15 years. That's funny because it's as ridiculous as that sounds. That's what goes on with a lot of people. You know, they'll be like, yo, I got a 5% raise. And you'll be like, well, how long you been working there? Oh, I've been there about 10 years. And then as they say that in your head, you're doing the math and you're like, so 10 years and you got 5%. So how much what kind of raise have you been getting for the last 10 years? Because if you do the math, let's say you get a 10% raise every year, which I don't really know anyone that really does that. You might get a 10% raise, you know, like, what's the thing called? Inflation adjustments. But they'll do that on a scale, and then when it reaches the cap, they'll stop doing that. I know certain companies do that because when you join or when you get hired by them, you start out at the bottom at the entry level. So you haven't reached the top pay in the company. Like, this is how the telephone company used to be that I worked for, Verizon. You would start out at the bottom. Within 5 years, you would reach top pay. And every 6 months, you were getting a raise. But you're getting a raise until you get to the top pay. Then when you get to the top pay, then the raises that come, they're not those incremental raises that you were getting until you reach top pay. Now you're getting the inflation raise. And that particular company, they paid out a lot of money to employees. Like, I'm not gonna lie, they had a lot of great benefits. The health insurance was great. The 401k that they paid, they were matching 100% of the first 6% that you put into your 401k, which was insane. It was 100% of the first 6%, and then it was 50% of the next 10%. So you could put in 16%, and they're matching 100% of the first 6%. That was insanity. So I was like, yo, they're literally giving you money with the match. So anyway, so that's 16%. Let's say that you maxed it out. If you got the 16%, you would actually end up getting contributions into your account. It was like 22% altogether. 22% of your actual income going into your 401k. That was crazy. That right there, I can't front. That was one of the things that the union had fought for, and they had been fighting for that like for 20 some years. And they made sure that they incorporated that into negotiations, like the years that I was working there for. We was getting that 100% of the first 6%. I was like, nobody gets 100% match. Nobody gets that. Cops don't even get that. So that was very interesting. That was a very good job. I can't lie. I cannot lie. Right, the cost of living increase. Exactly. What's up, Shawnee? Yes, Dolo said contentment is for broke people. You ain't lying. Stacy said get an 8% raise spread over 7 years. I'm like, are you serious? Right, so you telling me basically 1% I'm getting a year? 1%? Then you cap out eventually. Yes. Yep. What's happening, Patrick? Joel said a scam. 40 hours a week, 40 years for 40% pay retirement. She said, does it end in the 4? That's all I need to know. What's up, SJS? Shotty. Yeah, what's good, man? Yeah, man. You know the convos on here be real. Convos on here be official. Yeah, but that's very interesting though. That was one of the things that I used to pay attention to, because I used to try to compare, where I was working at to other people that had jobs. And I was like, yo, do y'all realize that we got a better job than the cops, the fire department, nurses? Like, we make more money than some doctors. Like, I used to talk to, like my coworkers about that. I'm like, yo, you realize like that we're making more money than these people? We got better health insurance than them. All of that. That was a good job. I can't even lie. I cannot lie. As far as jobs go, that was a good job, because it also allowed for freedom too. Like, you had time freedom on that job if you had a good supervisor. If your supervisor was cool, all he cared about was you did your jobs and he got his numbers. As long as he met his quota for the month, you could do your jobs. I don't care what you do after. Just bring the truck back to the garage when it's time to go home. Deuces. Like it was like that. As long as you did your work. So between having a good supervisor and all of the benefits that you got, that job was incredible. It really was. I cannot lie. So that was interesting. What other jobs did I have? I had a job when I was in my 20s. Well, really, I was like 18, 19, 20. From about 18 to like 20 years old, I had worked for a company. They used to sell, well, they probably still do, actually. If you travel in Europe, in Europe, they're big on the trains. Like, if you go country to country, they travel on the railway to go country to country, primarily, instead of flying. Like, a lot of people over there don't like to fly. So they have a very extensive train system. As a matter of fact, it was the same company that used to be French Rail. So we used to sell the vacation packages and the train packages and tickets. We used to do all of the bookings in the U.S. for people that wanted to travel from the U.S. to Europe. So this company that I worked for, it's like we did sales. We were doing sales, but it was a call center. So really your job is to do sales, and you're doing customer service, and you got to do bookings, and you got to help people that got problems. So you basically was doing everything. But anyway, to make a long story short, so I ended up on that job. I think when I started there, we was making like $10 an hour, and then you worked your way up, overtime or whatever. But we used to always get incentives. Like they had a whole incentive system based on how much sales you generated for the company. So, I always had a natural knack for a lot of different things. I was good at customer service. People used to call and ask for me on the phone because they used to like to have conversations. People used to love to talk. Like, people like to talk. That's one thing that I noticed too. Anytime you work at a call center, you're on the phone all day. People love to talk to you when you have good conversation and you like to engage with them. So they used to always be asking for me when they wanted to do future stuff. So people would do repeat business and bookings, and when their families traveling, they'll call, ask for me. So I was like #1 in sales in the US for the 2 years that I worked there for, without trying. It's not like I was trying. I didn't even know it until later on. So by the time I found out, they were like, yeah, you're #1 in sales, and your customer service record is excellent, and we're going to send you to Europe for 9 days. So sure enough, sent me to Europe for 9 days. That was another good job. I'm bringing that up because I'm just thinking back to jobs that I had, and like the type of stuff that I did, and the type of skills that I was able to develop in the process. Like, when you're on the job, you can build your skills depending on the job. Like, use the job to build some type of skill and get something out the job. Like, don't just let your job just be your job that you go to. Like, oh, gotta go to work, and you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Even if you don't like the job, find a way to benefit yourself from the job, because you're there. Like, you spend the time there, you might as well figure out how to make the best of it and actually get some type of benefit out of the job. That's the smart thing to do. So that's one thing that I've always made sure that I've done from mad young. Like, when I was young, I always did that. When my very first job, and some of y'all probably heard me mention this before, first actual job I had, like where somebody hired me, not a summer job. The first actual job I had was in a hardware store. And I was so intimidated by the hardware store because they had all type of stuff in the hardware store. Paint, plaster, screws, tools. They used to sell housewares. They had like anything that you can think of. Like, what store sells all that type of stuff now? Like Target. Think about Target, and it's small. Like, think about a small neighborhood Target. That's what this hardware store was like. And there's stuff everywhere in the store. And it's just me and one of the dudes that works there. 2 young boys working there. And then like another older dude. And then the chick that worked at the cash register. So he had like 4 or 5 employees in the store. And I was new. I didn't know nothing. You people coming in, I need a screw, size 3/8. I need 24 of those. I need 15 in screws, 2 7/8. And I'm like, what? You need what? It was crazy. But it's amazing how you adapt and you adjust to your environment, because over time, what happens is you start to figure stuff out. By the time I left that hardware store, I knew the whole store. Literally in and out, and anything somebody needed, I was able to do it. And I did that in like a year. So you can do anything. Like, you can make the best of whatever your situation is when you at a job. And it would behoove you to do that, because, if you spending your time there has to be something there that you can do to build some type of skill and to extract some value from the job. Has to be. You just got to figure out what it is. Like, you just don't know what it is yet. What's up, Andrew? What's up, Daniel? What's happening, Anna? Shani said, I worked in the call center building report all day. Long years ago. Yeah. Yep. And you build up that rapport, like, with people. They love you. Holiday come, they sending you, little cash gifts, all type of stuff. All type of stuff, man. He said, Mark, pick up on aisle 3. Yeah, I used to have to do all of that. Yep. Then at the end of the day, and I used to actually look forward to cleaning up, because I knew that if I cleaned up, it was just a way to pass the time, like, before we go home. I used to love the vacuum, and I used to love I used to like to mop too. I used to like to mop, actually, because I have OCD. So when I do stuff, I overdo it. You know what I'm saying? So, like, they used to know when I cleaned, because everything would be spotless. I used to be polishing the stainless steel coffee makers in the what do you call those things? Like the old school coffee makers that was stainless steel, with it had the top and the bottom on it. Forgot what the name of it is. It's kind of like an espresso maker, but it's a coffee maker, but the old school ones. So they, the way that they had them on the display, they had them on the shelves. So there was one out the box on display on the shelf, and then the boxes were underneath. But the ones on the top, you in the store, it gets dusty in there, and it don't really look that good. I used to make it look shining. Like people used to come over to my section where I used to clean up at. They used to be like, oh, this looks so nice. It would always smell fresh. Word. Stacey said, let me give you my address. What's happening, James? Yep. That's how, when I was a kid, that's how I used to make money in the house. Chores. Like, my kids don't understand that. My kids are spoiled as hell. Because I mentioned chores to them. They'd be like, all right, well, how much am I going to get paid? I'm like, what? Like, there was a time when I ain't get paid to do no chores. You did chores or you got a beating. There wasn't no pay. Like, don't do your chores to see what happens. There wasn't no money. We wasn't at the money phase yet. I didn't start making money doing chores until I was like 9 or 10. Maybe later than that. I might have been like 10 or 11 when I actually used to start getting money for it. But yep. And then when my mother told me I would get more money for cleaning the whole house. What? I used to clean the whole house. She give me, how much was I making back then? Cause my mother wasn't cheap with it either. She used to give me money. If I cleaned up one weekend, and what I would do, I would clean up and I would just keep it clean. That way I wouldn't have to do a big cleaning on the weekend. So it just was clean all the time. She used to pay me like $30. $30 for chores. And this is back like in the, the 80s. $30 back then. I used to save up my money. I used to always have money all the time. He'd be like, why you always got money? I used to have hundreds of dollars. I used to have hundreds of dollars in cash in the 80s. Jay Carly said, Mark be like, I wake up and excel at work. Text me everything. Breeze a year. I smashed that too. Yeah, man. It's very interesting. Very interesting. Muy interesante. And then it's so funny because then you have people that are like the extreme opposite of that. Like my sister, oh my gosh. Night and day. Like the way that I am with cleaning. We used to share a room. We shared a room when we was growing up. I come from humble beginnings. So we shared a room. And My half of the room was spotless. Her half of the room was a total mess. But when you come in the room, you're in her half first. Like her half is the front part of the room where the door is. And then my half is in the back where the window is. You go and you see my half, spotless. Bed is made up. Shoes are organized. My wardrobe was neat. All my posters and stuff I got on the wall is taped up perfect. Like, it just looks crazy. Her side of the room, clothes on the floor, bed ain't made up, coats on the bed, hanging on the closet door. She never would put her coat in the closet. Coat on the side of the closet on the floor. Just messy. And as I think back about it now, I'm like, well, damn, how can you have two people in the same exact environment and they're total opposites in the same space? Human behavior, man. Yep. So you said your mama's nice. My mama was, you live here, I should pay you to clean. Ah, man. Oh, Joel took it back. He said with $1 in the 80s, quarter water, Wise potato chip, bazooka gum, icy, and a pickle. Ooh. That is so New York right there, boy. Yo, we used to stretch the hell out of $1. We used to stretch that dollar for real. That's real. He said a quarter water, bag of chips. You got bazooka gum, a icy, a pickle. We used to get, we could probably squeeze in, you could squeeze in either Boston baked beans or lemon heads or Alexander the Great, the candy. Squeeze one of them in there. Squeeze in a slice of spice ham. Like we grew up in the ghetto, so we literally would just buy a slice of ham. Like, oh, let me get a slice of spice ham for like a nickel. What else? Bad stuff. What else? Oh, remember the little cherry pies? It was in the wax paper. They had cherry and they had apple and blueberry. It almost looked a little bit like how McDonald's apple pie used to look back in the day. Kind of like it was like bubbly on the crust. They had those. Had an ill childhood, man. He said icy in a pickle. Right, you get the pickle out the jar. Remember they had the jar sitting on the counter? And they'll get the white wax paper. They put your pickle in the wax paper, wrap it up. A quarter. Yes, now or laters. Yes. New York seltzer. There we go. Oh man, Andrew took it back. Now laters, Jolly Ranchers. Remember when blow pop was, how much a blow pop used to be? A blow pop was like a nickel. Blow pop was a nickel. Now a pack of now laters was a nickel. And you get like, they had the long pack. It was 10. Now they got the half pack. It's 5 and it's a quarter. They used to have the long pack. It was 10 in the pack. I think that was either nickel or dime. They used to have penny candy. Come on, man. Penny candy? You get 100 pieces of candy for $1. Crazy. Pop candy, yes. Original Jawbreakers. Oh, y'all going way back. Y'all going way back. Jelly beans. Remember nobody liked the black jelly bean because it tasted like licorice? Nobody liked the black jelly bean. Bitter honey and Chico sticks. Yo, do they still make that? I used to love bitter honey. I wonder if they still make that. If they still make that, I gotta get some just to have, just so I can get some nostalgia. Damon, the market is slowing down a little bit. It's trying to get there. I'm keeping my eye on it. Keeping my eye on it. Oh man, y'all brought me way back. Damn, it said Chico sticks. What's happening, Ron? Man, yeah, that's crazy. Back in the day, we used to go outside. Remember, you just go outside? Like, that's what we did. Like, I tell that to my kids now. They'd be like, what do you mean? And do what? Be like, play. Play what? We would just make stuff up if we didn't have nothing to play. We make stuff. We play tag. Off the wall. Stickball. Come on, man. Used to make games up. Hopscotch. Yes, open the Johnny Pump. Andrew know what it is. Yes. Yes, open up that hydrant, man. Talking about the pool. We ain't go to the pool. We open the hydrant. That's the pool. We ain't go to the pool till we got older. Yes, wall ball, handball. Come on, man. Yeah, that was that. It was an interesting time, though. I appreciate my childhood the most, I think, because what I do is I try to compare like how I grew up to like how my mother and her generation grew up, and then I compare it to how my kids are growing up now. I feel like we had the best type of childhood because it was like in between. It wasn't too old school, but it was old school enough. And it definitely ain't like these little rascals now. They don't want to do nothing. They just want to stay on their tablets, stay on the phone, and stay in the house. I'm like, yo, just like go outside, man. You don't want to go outside? You want to go to the park? Yep, it's not the same, man. They got all these gadgets and stuff now. Yeah, market's definitely slowing down. I want to see it stabilize. If it stabilizes, we actually might see something come out of this market today. Might see something happen. This one right here is actually looking interesting. I want to see what this one does. This 3227. I'm seeing signs of stability. Signs of stability. We're going to see. We'll see what it does. Nope. It ain't there yet. You saw that? It ain't there yet. When them bursts come like that, market letting you know, whatever you thought it was going to be, it ain't going to be that right now, bruh. Ooh, he said manhunt. Yo. He remember all the games from back in the day. Jeez. Yeah, it's way too easy now, man. Right, we used to be innovative. Just make stuff up. Grab the stick, go find a dead squirrel or a bird. Right, just yeah. I know what you're talking about. David said, don't nobody go outside no more. I'm telling you, anytime I mention that to my kids, they be like, well, what did you used to do? Like, we used to play. What do you think? Play. And they're like, well, play what? I just be like, forget it. Just go back on your tablet. Leave me alone. Then as we got older, then we used to just hang out. You know, like you would just be on the block and you just hang out. Somebody go to the store. We go to the store, get our pickle, get our icy or whatever we're going to get, come back to the block and just sit in front of the building, sit on the corner, sit on the stairs and just hang out. Well, nobody doing nothing crazy or nothing. We just there, just hanging out. Yep. He said, smear the queer. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds crazy. That was a game? Wow. That's interesting. Interesting title. J. Carly, I see you. I see you. Let me see something. You said start roasting each other. Oh man, Kraken. Oh, Kraken was crazy too because it's like, you know, you a kid, so y'all are cracking on each other, but you know that somebody's feelings really gonna get hurt. Like everything is funny until, like, don't let them gang up on you. If you come outside looking crazy, like if your hairline got zeked, you got zeked at the barber, and you got a crazy cut, don't go outside, because it's immediate. As soon as they see you, they cracking on you. Just roast you real quick. Joel said, holding up the building. Said it was kind of like tags, but you had a football involved. Okay. Joel said, punches on the elevator. Yeah, they definitely ruthless, David. Definitely. All right, Stacy. Stacy be eating good. She talking about she gonna get some real Mexican food. What is real Mexican food though? Like, I'm not even being funny. Cause anytime I just hear about Mexican, I just think automatically like tacos, nachos. But I would imagine that there is probably a whole bunch of other stuff that they have on the menu. So you think it was called Corners? What game is that? Corners. What's that? That sounds familiar too. Stacy said, "Little hole in the wall." Fist of Caps. He said, "Food made by real Mexicans." That's a good answer. That's actually a good answer. Like, yo, what's real Mexican food? Food made by real Mexicans. That is funny. I didn't see this last one just now, but it looked like it might have set up a little bit, but I can't tell. If I had to guess, I would say no. It probably didn't have any pricing or anything on it. Probably not. Joel said, on the elevator, 5 or more guys switch on the corners of the elevator while punching each until you reach the last floor. Oh, y'all used to just be making up all type of crazy stuff. Switch on the corners while punching each other till you reach the last floor. Definitely a guy game. Remember Punch Buggy? You used to see the little Volkswagen Beetles. Every time you see one, you can punch somebody in the arm. I used to be tearing people's arms up. It's showing signs of almost getting there. It just ain't there yet. Showing signs though. Showing signs. Open chess season and give me mine. Oh man. Give me mine. Give me mine was when you used to rub the neck. You used to be like that. I think I remember that too. We really had really crazy games, actually, like stupid stuff that we used to do. But it was actually kind of creative too at the same time. Give me mines. I remember that. I remember give me mines. Open chess. Open chess was when you just be punching each other in the chest. Is that one? I remember that too. The older guys used to always like to hit the younger ones. Yeah, dudes was getting it. Yes. Get your whole breath get taken. Start coughing. See, that's what happens when you surrounded by a lot of testosterone. That's the type of stuff that we do. Just punch each other in the chest. Like, what the hell is that? Oh, but that's what we used to do. Oh man. Yeah, I think this generation is much softer. I think this generation is light on their feet. But that's just me. Market ain't looking bad, but it's still, you know, still got that little funniness to it. Still got that little funniness to it. Yeah. He said, dude, get too hard to start fighting. You get hit so hard you can't fight. Yes, you be disabled. Oh man. Oh yeah. Definitely fights over that. Like, matter of fact, if you came outside with some brand new white kicks on, everybody was intentionally trying to step on your sneakers. Like, they would try to stomp your feet. And yes, you'll get swung on if you do that. Like, yeah, you tried out with me when I got my brand new Reeboks on. I'm trying to think of what sneakers we liked back then. We definitely liked the Cortez. We had Reeboks. Remember when they had Reeboks in mad colors? And it was like the high top one with the strap. I remember those. I remember what else was popular back then? Levi's was popular. Of course, Champion sweatshirts. You had Levi's and Champion sweatshirt on, you was fresh. That with a pair of brand new Reeboks. Fresh. That's funny. What's happening, Dimitri? He said, damn, he's strong. Yeah, exactly. British Knights. Ooh, he took it way back. Oh my goodness. British Knights. That's crazy. This Instagram about to cut off another like 10 seconds. I might go, if I go on YouTube, I'll go on YouTube in a little while. I'll go hang out over there for a minute. I'm gonna keep watching the market though, because it's looking like it might do something. So I might see y'all in a minute.